All right, before I get to the softball breakdown, because that starts 9:30 Eastern time, Thursday night, tonight, as this show is dropping on ESPN2 against UCLA. Plenty of Bruins talk on today's show. Nate Biddle's returning to the Ducks. I'm going to have full thoughts on that because I have a lot of thoughts on that on tomorrow's show. So make sure you tune into that. But let's get ready for the softball series because, well, not series, the World Series, that is. Oregon has not been here since Melissa Lombardi took over. This is the first time they've gotten there since 2018. This is a big deal. I don't have to tell you. I hope I don't have to tell you that. And it's not just because Oregon's there and it's cool. Oregon is there. Tell me why they can't win. They are top 10 in the country, and there are only a couple teams that have this. In fielding percentage, Sinicki, the shortstop, is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Just an absolute dynamite glove at short. If you haven't seen the plays she's made this year, you've been missing out. But Oregon is top 10 in fielding, hitting, and pitching. Runs per game, ERA, defensive fielding percentage. Does that mean they're going to win it all? Not automatically. Can they get past UCLA? That's step number one. So here's how that happens. And I think these keys can apply to pretty much any game Oregon plays in this tournament. It's double elimination. So if they lose to UCLA, they're not out of it. The road to reaching the best of three championship series gets exceedingly difficult from there. But let's talk about the Bruins, who are the number 9 team or number 9 seed in the country. There was a bit of a playoff football familiarity with how the seeding went down. Oregon was the number 3 team at one point pretty late in the season. They got upset by Michigan in the Big Ten tournament, and then they were the number 16 seed despite being the Big Ten champions. I don't really get how all of that works. But UCLA, the number 9 seed in the Big Ten, incredibly, like Oregon, balanced team. So 2 names for you to know going into this game against the Bruins. RIP Pac-12 and Bill Walton as well, who I hope is smiling somewhere watching this game take place. You got to be careful with Megan Grant and Jordan Woolery. So those are the 2 most prominent power hitters for the Bruins. When you have bats up and down the lineup the way both of these teams do, and certainly Oregon can hit 1 through 9. I thought the broadcast crew did a good job in the Super Regional Series, highlighting how strong this Ducks lineup is top to bottom and how the production doesn't just come from the top or the middle. Like, they can really hit anywhere 1 through 9, and that's a great thing to be able to say. UCLA certainly has a lot of that ability, but in these big games, Oregon is now 42-0 when they hit a home run, 10-8 when they don't. It might be 43-0 with the super regional games. But the way that Oregon has played offense this year, there's just something about having the home run ball. And I think it's because so many times those big flies are coming with runners on base, and you can shift the momentum. You can give your pitching staff just a lot of benefits there. You've got real sluggers on both sides of the diamond here, and I think you got to win the home run battle. I think that is key number 1. If you give up 2 home runs, you better find a way to hit 3. If you only hit 1 and you give up 3, I think that's just asking so much of everything else with your team. You've got to at least be even, if not ahead, in the home run department, which then, of course, brings you to the pitching staff. And I think the staff, especially Lindsey Grine, who's been their best pitcher all year, she's thrown the most innings, has the second best ERA. She had a bit of a get-right game in Game 2 against Liberty in the Super Regional and was just phenomenal, retired 18 or 19 batters in a row at one point in that game. Now you're going back up against big-time competition. Not that Liberty wasn't good. Of course they were. Oregon caught a break, and they've taken advantage of it, to their credit, to get themselves to the College World Series. That Liberty lineup does not have the same caliber of bats as what you have with a team like UCLA, or else those kids would probably be playing at a school like UCLA. And what they did against Texas A&M, you can't take it away from them. It wasn't cheap, it wasn't fake or anything like that. but certainly Oregon caught a break. So it's good that Lindsey Grine had a phenomenal outing, but now she's got to go and do it against UCLA. And when she has gone up against Power 4 competition in the last month and a half or so, it has not been the same level of outcome that we're accustomed to. And so I think settling down, and I do think there's something to the pressure of being there for the first time in 7 years. Oregon's got to settle into the game. If this game is 0-0, top of the third, I will take that every day of the week. I will have no complaints. The pitching staff has to find a way to settle in because like this Oregon lineup, which certainly can get going against anybody in the country because they are deep, they are talented, they're experienced, they're all these sorts of things, but they have some really exciting young players as well, like Riley McCoy. They have got to be able, I think, to settle down and get accustomed to, okay, we're here in the College World Series. Like, they're the newer kid on the block. Melissa Lombardi hasn't been in this position before. UCLA has. And so I think that is a really, really important thing in this game. In addition to the home run battle, you got to get off to a solid start. Don't be playing from behind. Don't try and stage a comeback like you did against Stanford. That was great. It was amazing. That's not the formula you go for. And when you're going against a UCLA team with a team batting average of 344 on the year, you got to be able to settle in as a staff. So we'll see if they go with Elise Sokolsky or if they start with Lindsey Grine in the game. Those are mostly the two arms Oregon has used this year. Stacey Chambers has been a revelation, and man, has she been good. I'm fascinated to see how Coach Lombardi and her staff employ those three arms, because let's say you start with Sokolsky, but she gives up 2 in the first and 1 in the second. You think, okay, we need to have a new arm. Are you going to Lindsey Grine? Because what you have to keep in the back of your mind, and it's not as important in softball as it is in baseball because pitchers can throw the next day and it's not as big of a stress on their arm, is if Oregon wins this game, they will advance into the winners division of the bracket, and they will play the winner of Texas Tech, number 12 seed in the country, and Ole Miss, who won their regional but was not seeded. That game would be on Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern. If they lose on Thursday, they're still alive, but they play on Friday, 9:30 Eastern, against the loser of Texas Tech and Ole Miss. And Texas Tech has got the National Player of the Year. I think she's a pitcher, and they went out and invested a bunch of money into it. Good for them. Texas Tech's investing big time in college sports right now, and it's paying off in more ways than one. So that's the situation for the Ducks. Again, those two keys. The pitching staff has got to settle in, and you have to at least be even in the big fly department, or else you're just facing a major, major uphill battle in this game. But, I saw Scotty Scheffler talking recently about the Tour Championship and, what it means to go out there. And he said, look, we're not doing it for the money. Like, we, are out here to compete at the highest level. And, we get gratification as professional golfers when you go out and you perform on the biggest stage, because to win, you have to be at your best in the biggest moments. That's what this comes down to. There's nothing really else to it. Oregon and UCLA, I think, are pretty evenly matched on paper. I bet if they play 10 times, nobody's winning more than 6. And so it's one game, 9. Let me double check that time. Let me double check the time, but I believe it was 9:30 Eastern on ESPN2. And I can't wait to watch. Hope they come out with a win, because you get in that loser's bracket and every game's win or go home. That's asking a lot. But yeah, 6:30 Pacific time, ESPN2. Make sure you check it out. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. And hopefully on tomorrow's show, in addition to talking about Nate Biddle coming back to the Ducks and a potential transfer target Oregon's going after, I can talk about a softball victory too.